Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all folks in between. Welcome to Aunt Millicent's Cooking Show. Hello, and welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining me again. Today on the show, I'm going to share with you one of our favorite recipes in this house. It's a recipe for shrimp Alfredo, and it makes one of the best Alfredo sauces you'll ever have. It's like restaurant quality. So without further ado, I'm going to apron up and let's get started. Get right into the recipe. Now, I know they have a can of Alfredo sauce sitting in the shelf at the grocery store, but believe me, the homemade one is so much better. And it's really kind of stupid easy to make, okay, for real. And doesn't require a whole lot of skill to do it. So the first thing we're going to need is some cream. So go get yourself some heavy whipping cream from the store, okay? Next thing we're going to need is some shredded Parmesan cheese, however you say that, okay? Remember, there's no such thing as a bad cheese. Am I right? You know. So next thing is some mozzarella cheese. You can get yours pre-shredded if you want. That's fine. I won't tell anybody. Okay. So we're going to shred this, and obviously my parm is already pre-shredded. So, okay. The next part of the sauce is we need a little bit of garlic. You can toss in as much as you like. I'm probably going to put about a teaspoon or so into my sauce. Okay. You'll also need the essential in Italian food, the olive oil. You're going to need about 2 tablespoons of this, okay? And then next thing is you're going to need some white pepper. If you want to get the other kind, that's perfectly fine. This just looks prettier because it blends in with the white sauce, okay? And it tastes a little different, not that much different. Okay, so that's the sauce, and we also have to add the pasta. I bought some fettuccine pasta for this dish. You can add angel hair. One of the recipes, angel hair is, by the way, one of my favorites, but this recipe online suggested angel hair. But fettuccine is the tradition, so we're going to go with the flat fettuccine noodles, okay? Or you can use whatever you have, honestly. And then the next thing you're going to do is, at this point, you could really add anything you want. So if you wanted to add chicken or shrimp, it's tradition. I'm not sure what else you could add to it. You probably could go to your, or you could just have the Alfredo sauce with no meat or no anything. A little bit of tomatoes on top, cut up. It's really good. It looks really pretty too. You could also put some spinach in it, and it'll look good. But today I'm going to make it with shrimp. Okay, so what I've bought is some peeled and deveined shrimp from the store. I only got about a half a pound. I'm kind of somewhat allergic to shellfish, so if I eat too much of this, it'll start to blow up, and it affects my nose and everything. So we don't want to do that. I can eat a little bit of it; it won't bother me. Although it's probably any amount of it has some effect on me. So, but we got our shrimp, and to enhance our shrimp, this is so easy. Butter. Oh, we'll need butter for the sauce too. I forgot. So butter has to go in the sauce. Leftover butter can go with the shrimp. And just some Old Bay seasoning. Y'all, that's it. Shrimp is easy to make. It's fast. If you cook it way too much, you're going to overdo it. So cooking it, you won't spend a lot of time making shrimp. Okay. So that's it. And without further ado, let's get started. I'm going over to the stove. And my light is out on the stove for some reason. It just went out. I thought I had a replacement bulb, but I don't. So I'm going to move the light over there, so hopefully I will be able to see. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, guys, the first thing you want to do is start yourself a pot of water to boil. This is for your pasta. Okay, so we're just going to let this roll till it comes to a boil. And really, you can use whatever the directions are on the side of your pasta box. Okay. And I'm not going to read mine to you, but you get the idea. This is going to go in there. We're going to have pasta. Okay. So go ahead and get that started because that'll probably take the longest to cook. Okay. So I'm going to move over to the saucepan now. We are over at the saucepan. The first thing I want to emphasize when we're cooking Alfredo sauce is it's dairy and cheese. So you do not want to crank the heat up. Okay. So just keep in mind that most of this cooking is going to be done slow and low. Okay. So you don't have to put it on nothing, okay? Because it's a little hardier than you think. But just think milk, cream, cheese, butter, and all you want to do is just mix it, melt it together, okay? And it'll make it just a perfect sauce, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I want to add my 3 tablespoons of butter, okay? And then I need 2 tablespoons of olive oil, okay? So let me get that in there. I'm working on the side here. 1, and 2. So I'm going to let that cook down, and we're going to stir it up. It's going to make a kind of a greasy little stuff in the bottom there, and then we're going to put our cream in. Okay, so I'll check back with you in just a minute. Okay, y'all, our butter and olive oil are simmering nicely now. So the next thing I want to do is add 2 cups of this whipping cream. Just add it nice and slow right to that butter and olive oil. Okay. Then the next thing is, it says 1/4 of a teaspoon of white pepper, but I'm going to just add as you like. Okay, so I'm not going to measure that out. And then the next thing we're going to add is, it says 2 cloves of garlic on the recipe. I'm just going to go ahead and add about a teaspoon of garlic. Okay. And my water for my pasta is already boiling, almost. So I'll get on that in just a second. Okay. So we're going to have to mix all that up with the cream. There's still a little bit of cream in there. I'll tell you one thing, if you get this going, if you can get as much sauce as you can out of this, it will be eaten, I promise you. So there we go. Remember, keep your heat on low. You've got cream in there. This isn't a pork chop, okay? So keep that cream in there with that butter and olive oil and let that simmer. Oh, say, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes or so. Okay, so I'll come back in about 5. Okay, y'all, our cream and everything's all nice and hot and mixed up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. And I'm going to do a little bit of a technique here to just kind of add slowly, okay? And stir that in with the cream mixture. And believe it or not, we are almost done. I told y'all this was easy, okay? Let that cook for, 10 minutes or so. You want the Parmesan to disintegrate and turn into a liquid, okay? So we're going to let that cook, and I'll be back. Okay, y'all, we have reached the last part of the Alfredo sauce. The last thing that goes in is 3/4 cup of mozzarella, okay? And shredded, please shred it. Don't just put the block in there. That's silly, okay? So put that in there and let it melt, maybe about 5 minutes or so. Remember to always keep your temperature on low because all this stuff is cheese and dairy. And if you cook it too hot, you're going to get some, well, let's just say results you probably won't like very much. Not only that, it'll burn the heck out of the cream sauce and everything, and it'll stick to your pan. It'll take you forever to clean it all up. So don't do that. Just keep it on nice and low. Okay, what's the rush, right? Absolutely. So that's it on that. Okay. And if you look, I have already started, I just finished the pasta. The timer just went off. So it is drained and sitting over there ready to go. So I'm going to move over to my next station. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to tell you, you're done. That's the whole thing right there. You can add more pepper or salt if you like. It's usually pretty good with salty with the cheese in it. But that's it. That's the Alfredo sauce. I promise you, it's like the best Alfredo you've ever had, ever. Okay. So what I want to do is move to the next pot and start the shrimp. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, we are at the other pan now, and it's still a little warm on the side. Probably not quite warm for what I needed to. So I'm going to warm it up a little bit more. And I'm going to throw in some butter. That's the remaining 1/3. And I'm going to throw in a little bit more because I found some in the fridge. But believe me, this dish will take up all the butter that you can imagine. And it's delicioso. So I want you all to let those butter pats melt down. Okay. And I'm going to let those melt down and I'll be back. Okay. Our butter seems to have nice and melted down and spread all over the pan. I forgot to mention this earlier. Get your garlic back out and throw you about 1/2 teaspoon in there. Stir that up. Okay. Let that cook down a little bit. And you don't have to wait that long. Just let your, if you want to get fresh pressed garlic, that's cool. I've done fresh pressed garlic before, and wow, it's a pain to clean up. But the stuff at the store that's pickled is just fine. Okay, I think this is nice enough. So I'm going to take my 1.5 pounds of peeled and deveined shrimp. In we go. Oh, this one. Get out of there. There you go. And while I'm here, I'm going to add some Old Bay seasoning. Okay, this is the standard Old Bay. For some reason, we have hot. I don't know why, but we do. But it's not that hot. So, and you can season those up just as much as you want. Okay, I like quite a bit in there. Stir that all up with the garlic and the butter. And you're only going to cook these about maybe 3 to 4 minutes, maybe not even that much. Shrimp has a very distinct ability to show you when it's done. It'll turn from this kind of white to a nice healthy pink, and you'll see it. It'll look like what you get in the restaurant, like this guy right here. He's not done yet. Let that cook, maybe about 3 or 4 minutes, and that's going to go in our Alfredo. Okay, and while I'm working here, I'm going to be working on some spinach. I'm just going to warm it up in the microwave and cook it down. And I'm also going to cut up a tomato, and that's going to go in our Alfredo, and we'll be done. I recommend you make some garlic bread too, but this has a lot of carbs in it already, so you do your own thing. But there you go. Okay, so there's our shrimp. Okay, y'all, we are done. My pasta's finished, and I've got some shrimps in there. I poured some Alfredo on there just to sample it, and I've cut up some tomatoes to put on top of this, so it's ready to be consumed. Again, I suggest you maybe add some garlic bread. You can also add some spinach that you can, just integrate within the dish. So I want to head to the dining room and let's check it out, shall we? Okay, y'all, we made it to the dining room, and I have brought with me my shrimp Alfredo. So let's give it a shot with a little shrimpy. Oh, that's nice. You can really taste the garlic in the sauce too. So again, don't be afraid to experiment with this. Add your favorite, whatever your meat instead of shrimp. You can leave the meat out. You can add, spinach or any kind of veggie that you like. So anyway, I'm really glad you joined me. I hope you enjoyed making this recipe, and I wish you all a very pleasant bon appetit.